This is George DeLoache, and this is the Camera Artist Guild Thursday Critique. And I am glad you're here, and we are back running again. Boy, it is really nice to be back. We're on the Thursday time slot, and I'm going to try to hold to that. As you guys know, I had a couple of health challenges. It's really a problem getting old. Don't ever do it. But those health challenges are over and we're back at it again. But anyway, let's jump over here to Photoshop and get going. And this one is John Bowser. John, you killed it, man. You just really killed it. Maybe just a little bit higher arch on her head so that you would bring this area into the end of the light. But man, it's smoking. You used your backlight very well. I love the fact that you put the sun behind the hat, and it just gives a feel to it. Then it's a cool choice, a cool color temperature. So her skin tones are just a little on the cooler side, but it's very well done. I can't think of anything that I would do short of maybe just adjusting it a little to the left to include this chair and backing up a little to give her more room under her foot. This is going to call for a strange crop. Now, one thing that you can do if you want to change the distance between, as far as the distance on this side, so that you could get more on the page. In other words, shrink the bench. Believe it or not, let's duplicate the layer, Control J. Let's go to Marquee Tool. Let's take that Marquee Tool and let's draw it down to here and bring it over to right about there. Now you want Alt, Control, Shift, C. That brings out a content-aware square. And now you're going to just bring this in a little. No, that's taking into consideration that you photographed it a lot wider than this. But what that will do for you is allow you, we go there, and Control D to get rid of it. That will, and let's look over here and just drop this out. Okay, what that did was now you could shoot a little bit broader and include, now here I am pointing with my finger at it, and you can include a little bit more of the chair. Now, this is something you would decide to do in post-production. You would say, when you're photographing this and your composition, I want to shrink that bench a little bit so that the bench is closer to equal on both sides. It's just depending. I love the position of the model on the 1/3 compositional line. So, use it if you can use it. Use it. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Very expressive model as well. You found a good model. She is a full-figured lady, but she sure does know how to hit her poses. She knows how to strike her pose. There we go. Okay, this is John Bowser again. And the reason why I snatched this one up is that both of these, normally I would go to two different people and not go to the same one on each one. But this image has so many things working for it and a couple of things that can work against it. And I just wanted to point it out. The exposure's right on, the concept. I don't know whether this is Philly or New York. You know, at least it could be brownstones in either one of them. I don't understand the pumpkins unless you are specifically trying to do a Halloween theme or a fall theme. Yeah, but you know, you may decide to use the pumpkins. Okay, and using the lens that you've chosen, it is a little difficult when you get the feet look almost closer to the body, or closer to the camera than the body, so they look much larger, and the legs look much longer. Now she's thin, or they are thin. I'm not sure whether it's you know, whether, I think it's a female, but it could be an androgynous man for either one. You know, it's hard to tell. She looks female to me. So make a decision on your lens area, but watch your posing perspective for being that low. Now, what I would do with this, although I don't have a 35, there is a 35. I have a 50 millimeter PC lens, shift lens, that allows me to get low like this and then shift the elements of the lens up, which will bring back the perspective a little bit, and it won't be so radical, so that the head is very small and the feet are very large. And you're going to have long legs, and that's what you're after, but I think they're just a little bit exaggerated for me. Give that a try, and if you need to, you can use that same technique that we used on the last one. Let's go Control J. I'm going to get myself into trouble here, but we're going to try. And I'm going to go to the marquee tool, and I'm going to just marquee it off, and I'm going to bring the about mid torso, and Alt Control Shift C, content aware, and then I'm going to shift that up just a little bit. There we go. Enter, Control D, and drop that one out. And so now the legs are a little bit shorter. They're still not overly short, but you have kept everything in line with the photograph, and yet brought some of your perspective back with that content aware. So I hope that helps. And all of a sudden, what just happened? Okay, there it is. It's back again. I don't know. My monitoring software switched up. Okay, and Bill Thomas, interesting photograph. One thing to remember, Bill, is that your lighting ratio between your diffuse value, this value over here, the main value, the main light, and the shadow value. You're at that time of day where you're starting to lose light and it's getting darker. So now what I would consider doing is using a wider aperture and a slower shutter speed. Now you can slow that shutter speed down, especially if you clamp down the tripod. You can slow that shutter speed down anywhere. And what that shutter speed will do, it won't affect the flash. The flash is going to be adjusted by the f-stop. But the shutter speed will affect the ambient light, as well as the f-stop will affect the ambient light. But you can keep the f-stop where it is. But just drop the shutter speed. It's called dragging the shutter. Drop that shutter speed down. If it's at a 1/25th, drop it down to a 40th, or clamp it down to a tripod and go down to 20th. And what that will do is allow the ambient light to fill in the shadows. Now, the only problem with that is that you lose this red light on the sunset. If you want to keep the red light on the sunset, and you have to do that with the shutter speed to keep that exposure that way, then try a reflector. It's a reflector time. It's time to pop a reflector up and run it over on this side just to pump a little bit of light into the shadows. Okay? And Willie Demetrius Richardson, and Willie, you killed it again. It's really, really great. Now, there's one thing that I'm going to point out to you that you probably did not see. And the great model, you're one for getting these great looking models in the water. I don't know how you do it. You might be a scuba diver. You spend so much time in the water, brother. But it is always good to see. I love the combination of the artificial light and the natural light. The one place they could improve is this horizon. The horizon comes directly through the model's head. And so you are really going to have to change the position that you're in with the model. You're going to have to come a little farther down in the water, a little farther down, camera down, dolly down. And if you come down some, you'll still have this wide expanse. You'll still place her on the 1/3 compositional line, but her head will go above the horizon, and the horizon will come through her shoulders rather than right through her head. Or you got to go up and drop her head into the water and the horizon above her head. I would prefer going the other way, so I would just lower my camera angle a little bit and give it a try.